guys, welcome back to Southern Latitudes. I'm Robin, and today I'm going to bring to you the topic of drip irrigation. I had a subscriber ask me in the last video, how do I set up my drip irrigation? Thank you, Sylvia, for the question, and here's my answer to you guys. I know a lot of us are starting up the fall gardens, and so as we in Florida transition from our rainy season to our dry season, and that usually for me is about the third week of October, we're going to have to start thinking about irrigating our crops. And you know, we can't always rely on rain, although you know it's okay in the fall and through the winter, but and then we get extremely dry through spring. But you do want to have a system in place where the water can most efficiently go right into the roots of the plant or to the base of the stem, and then water your plants without being evaporated very easily. So I have 3 different setups in my own yard, and let me go through them from like basic to the most complicated. So of course you can just use the hose, so I'm going to skip that part, but let's go on to the first system that I have. So over here I have a regular spigot coming off of the house, and yes, I haven't finished painting my house. We stopped for summer. I have a 4-way valve, and then 2 of them go to the front yard system, and then these are just 2 separate lines for this is my long line, and this is one we were using for the boat when the boat was in the boat barn. So let's follow the south garden line, which is the gray line. As you can see, it just runs above ground, and it comes on over here. It's actually covered up by leaves, and it curls right there, and it goes through the fence. Okay, now we are on the outside of the fence, and as you can see, this is where it comes out in the corner of the south garden, and it just goes under. I just dug a little hole, and then it comes over here. It attaches to a sprinkler head right here, and then of course I have it set up. It has different stops on it, so it does shoot straight here, hopefully missing the fence for the majority of the water, and then it sprays across the south garden, stopping right approximately here. Now this is primarily what I use for lettuce and kale and leeks and whatever else, sometimes flowers. You see some permaculture in here, you'll see my sweet potatoes here, but this is my irrigation for them, and everything in here can really handle overhead watering. So this is an option, and I did buy a pretty heavy duty hose, and then I just simply screwed it on to this little sprinkler head. That's a pretty cheap and efficient way of watering your garden. Okay, now so let's follow the green line, which heads to the north garden. And by the way, these just turn on and off like this. Pretty easy. So let's follow that green line now. Again, it crosses over here. It does some wrapping around of excess right here. It continues along the fence line. It comes right here across the way, and yes, the truck does run over it, so make sure you get heavy duty. And then it goes under the fence right about here. Here it comes from underneath the fence over to here. Now the first system we had did not require a filtration system added before on the hose on the way to the sprinkler head, but this one for drip irrigation does. When I bought my Haas irrigation kit, it came with 3 of these Senegar irrigations, and it transfers the type of volume from a regular hose into the drip irrigation hose, which needs a different, I think it's a PSI if I'm not mistaken. And it cleans out the water right here in case you have dirt, and before it lets it go on into your lines. I also have a T-post right here, so I can in the future start watering the food forest, which is that way, and then this way waters all my lines across here. I do not always have plants in here. As you can see, it's mostly vines at this point, but I don't always have plants that like overhead watering in this area, so I do not use that first method, but rather I use the regular filtration and then drip line. The main line goes down here, and then I have drip lines going out in the opposite direction. I believe out here I have 1, 2, 5, 6, 7. I have about 10 drip lines in this section of the garden. Here's the future main line right here that's going to feed my food forest area right here. Now primarily I only want lines here for this. I'll probably move the blueberries to this so they can get good access to water, and then I will have a line that continues through here and does the outer bend, and then I'll have a line that continues here and does the inner bend of the tunnel system. All right, you guys, this is my third system or setup I have for irrigation. Now this does 2 gardens as well. So I have, again, a spigot that actually comes off the house, goes underground, and it came here to what is the old shed, and came out right here. There's also a little sink on the inside that it feeds, but we don't actually use that. So my husband, he put in a bi or dual joint, I guess that's the best word for it, and the amount of water flow is controlled by these 2 nozzles right here, and this is really heavy duty for bending back and forth. You can see the metal spirals in it, and then I have 2 different ways from here. So I have this filtration setup that came in with the Haas Tools kit, the drip irrigation kit, and so it attaches right here to this right side, and it feeds down under the ground, not under really the ground, but the grass kind of hiding it. So my main line comes here, and then all of my drip lines, and I don't remember, but there's about 7 or 8 drip lines in the house garden that all go this way, and I just put that in last fall. I had a combination of bird and rain garden drip irrigation products before. I had this one from the Haas Tools irrigation kit, and it was good, but it was mix and match. This garden has been evolving at least a good 10 years, and so went from some products here small to over there big. It had a line going over there towards the house for that garden, which no longer exists, and it was just mix and match, and it wasn't working anymore for our new gardens here. So I wanted to start again. We put in the drip line, or the drip filtration, the main line here, and irrigation going all the way down to the ends on each section. This was also a problem that I had with the last irrigation that was set up in here. It was so mix and match, some of the drip lines didn't actually go to the end of the garden. And last but not least, you see this one, this silver one right here, because salsa garden was added much later, and this line, it used to actually go back here and feed the pineapples, but I tried to get away with that because I knew I had this drip line here. Now I may have to correct all that once the shed is gone, and actually I believe, like, for the most part the pineapples are gonna come out. That's why I'm not being too picky about the weeds in this area. So let's follow this silver line right here. And it's just another heavy duty hose from any major box store. This might be about 75 feet. And it comes out, and for this temporary home, it's going across this walkway, kind of feeds in behind the asparagus bed, goes down right here, and then it cut right across the grass. The grass wasn't here when I put the line in, so now the grass has grown over the hose, and it never seems to bother the lawnmower. As you can see, I just freely go back and forth over where the hose is. And now I got to here and I was like, I need to put in one of those filtration systems again. And so that's where this one comes in. Now, you can see I come down to a T-post right here, and this is blocked off. I have this big old apple tree tub right here, but it's blocked off with a figure 8 anyhow. There's no water going to the right, but going to the left is my main line, and peeking out from under here is one of my drip lines for right here. I did add this, it's sort of like a weed barrier. It's just a really long, is it 1x6 or something like that? Whatever was handy hanging out in the yard. And so the main line kind of goes under it, but not being squished. It's not squished at all. And it goes all the way to the end there. And it has a figure 8 at the end of it. Then I came in and put in drip irrigation lines down, I don't know, I probably have about 4 here, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So about 9 lines in this garden. So you see, you can actually reconfigure it many different ways. You do not have to buy from Haas Irrigation or Haas Tools drip irrigation kits alone, or just their parts alone. There's actually a website called dripdepot.com where you can get all these same things in individual parts. Obviously nobody's going to have the same 2 gardens. So if you really need a lot more drip irrigation lines, you can just buy a whole roll of that. If you want it in 6-inch emitters, 12-inch emitters, you go to dripdepot.com. That's where I'm going to go the next time when I just need miscellaneous pieces. Sometimes you just need figure 8s. Let me also show you here at the very end on some of these. They have these little doohickeys. Let's call it a doohickey. And you just fold up the end of your line in there and snap it tight. Well, you fold it all the way through, and then you roll it and snap it tight. And this stops the end of your drip line. By the way, here's the emitters here, 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 you know, and so forth. Uh-oh, I found a stake. I do hold them still a lot with these little staples. But it's very convenient. My gardens average about anywhere from 22 to 28 feet long. Oh, we got a big storm coming. And so that seems to handle the water flow very well. I will tell you, you probably do not want to do like a U-turn, a hairpin turn. It's not really made for that. If you need to do that, you can get connectors and stuff like elbow joints or whatever you need. Here on the end, I have they have a little tool that pokes the hole into the main line. There's all sorts of videos already on this, so I won't repeat that information, but you just screw your drip line onto the attachment, and then the attachment piece goes into the main line. And then you can also buy little other additional pieces that turn on and off if you want to turn off for like your watermelon or something like that. Something's at the end of their growth time, and say you don't need water to it, so you can do that. But I haven't actually invested in that. So Sylvia, that was a really good question. and it was great for me to kind of show you what I have already in my garden. The startup cost, it's really hard to say because inflation is changing things on a monthly basis. And of course, a lot of my stuff was bought probably 3 years ago or so, end of 2018, early 2019. I'm gonna kind of get out of here. We're getting a big gust of wind. I don't want to be under those trees again. If you didn't see me almost get hit by a branch in that last garden tour video, go back and watch that video near the end. But anyhow, so back when I paid for it, as far as cost, you know, each hose is what, about $25. Some are, the longer ones are more, heavy duties more. Who knows what they are now, 30, 35, 40, I don't know. But I paid probably about $200 to $225 for the kit. And like I said, it came with 3 of those filtration things. It came with a whole round ream, is that the right word? Ruh-roh. It came with a whole lot of drip irrigation tube, plus it came with the mainline stuff, which I have run out of that, so I will have to order more of that if I ever need it. But yeah, I mean, so there is a little startup cost, but it's going to save you in the long run with your money for your water, because you're not evaporating water into the air. And I do have it in that one little section where it's shaded, and the lettuce seems to thrive on overhead water versus things like tomatoes hate overhead, and they love the drip irrigation. So it's most efficient with the drip, and so 3 of our gardens are drip, and the food forest will partially be on drip sometime over the course of winter. But you guys, I hope you found something useful and educational out of this. If you're looking for how to exactly install each one of those different systems, I know Haas Tools has videos. I'm sure Drip Depot has their own videos. Probably even Lazy Dog Farm, and probably every big YouTuber out there has a drip irrigation video too. But this is just how I do it in my garden, and this is kind of small scale suburban gardening here in East Central Florida. So you guys take care, God bless, and I will see you in the next one. Good question, thank you, bye-bye. Woo! Here comes that storm.